Welcome to It's English Podcast, where English feels easy, calm, and natural.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It's English Podcast. I am Brian, and I am so happy you are here today. Wherever you are listening right now, on your phone, on your way to work, or sitting at home with a cup of tea, welcome. This is your place to learn real, natural English.
And I am Mary. Hello, everyone. Brian said it perfectly. This podcast is your safe space to hear English the way real people speak it. Not the kind you read in old textbooks, but the kind you hear in real conversations. At work, at home, with friends.
Can I ask you something before we start today's topic?
Of course, that is usually how we begin, Brian. Go ahead.
Okay, so this morning, before I came here, I was drinking my coffee, and I was just thinking quietly to myself, am I happy with where I am right now? Am I doing what I really want to do with my life? And then I thought, wait, is this the right mood for a podcast morning?
Brian, that is actually so human. I think a lot of people have that same thought. Maybe in the morning, maybe at night before they sleep. It is a very normal question.
Right? And I think that question, am I happy with what I'm doing, connects to money, to work, to life choices. And that is exactly what we are going to talk about today.
Yes. And before we jump in, I want to ask our listeners, have you ever had that feeling? Maybe you wake up and think, should I keep my job? Should I start my own business? Should I do something different? If you have had that feeling, today's episode is made for you.
Today, we are talking about one of the most real and most common conversations people have, jobs versus business. Two different paths, two different lives. And today, we are going to explore both of them together in simple, clear, real English.
And whether you have a job or you have a business, or you're somewhere in the middle, confused and unsure, that's okay. We're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to help you think clearly and speak confidently about this topic in English.
So, if you enjoy this episode and it helps you even a little, please subscribe to It's English Podcast. Leave us a comment and share this with a friend who is learning English. Your support truly means everything to us.
All right, let us begin. Take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Welcome to today's episode of It's English Podcast, Job versus Business.
Understanding jobs. Mary, let us start with something simple. When someone says, I have a job, what picture comes to your mind?
Immediately, I think of something regular, something predictable. I think of a fixed schedule. You know what time you start, what time you finish, you know when your salary comes. That feeling, that is what a job gives many people.
Yes, and for many people, that predictability is really important, especially if you have bills to pay, rent, food, family. A job gives you that security, that promise that money is coming every month.
And jobs also teach you so much. Communication skills, how to work with other people, how to manage your time, how to follow a system. These are very valuable lessons that many people do not talk about enough.
True. I actually started my first job at 18 years old. I was working at a small office, very simple job, but I learned how to speak professionally, how to send emails, how to be on time, how to deal with difficult situations. That job taught me things school never did.
That's such a real and honest story, Brian. And I think many of our listeners can relate. A job is not just money. It's also training for life. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with choosing a job and loving it.
Absolutely. But, and here's the honest part, some people reach a point where the job stops feeling like training. It starts feeling like a trap.
Yes, and that is a real feeling. Not everyone feels it, but some people do. They feel like their time doesn't belong to them anymore. They feel limited, like they can't grow beyond a certain point. And that's when they start dreaming about something else.
And that something else is usually business. The word business carries a lot of emotion. When people say it, sometimes their eyes light up, sometimes their voice gets bigger, sometimes they get quiet and nervous.
You're right. Business is a very emotional word. For some people, it means freedom. For others, it means risk. For many people, it means both at the same time.
So let's define it simply. In a business, you are the owner. You are not working for someone else. You are working for yourself. You make the decisions, you take the risks, and the results, good or bad, are yours.
And the beautiful part of business is that your income is not fixed. If your business grows, your income grows. If you create more value for people, you can earn more. That possibility, that is what attracts so many people to the idea of business.
But here's the part people don't show on social media. Business is hard, really hard, especially in the beginning. There are days with zero sales, days when you question everything, days when you wonder, did I make the biggest mistake of my life?
And that's a normal feeling. Many successful business owners have had those moments. The people you see now looking confident and successful, they also had their dark, difficult, quiet days. Days when nobody was watching and nobody was clapping.
I remember when I first tried to sell something online. It was a small idea. I was so excited. I told my friends, I set everything up, and then nothing. Nobody bought, nobody responded. It was silent, and I felt so embarrassed.
But you did not stop, Brian. That is the important part of the story. You kept going. And that is actually a very big difference between people who eventually succeed in business and people who do not. How they respond to those silent, difficult moments.
Exactly right. And that brings us to our 5 practical tips. These are not just tips for business or jobs. These are tips for thinking clearly about this whole topic, for making a real, honest decision for yourself. Tip number 1 is this. Know yourself before you choose a path. This sounds simple, but most people skip this step completely.
Yes. Before you ask, should I get a job or start a business, you need to ask a more important question. What kind of person am I? Do I feel comfortable with uncertainty? Do I like structure? Do I need a regular income to feel safe? Can I handle failure without giving up?
Think of it like this. Some plants grow best in a pot, in a controlled environment, with regular water on a schedule. Other plants grow best outside, in open soil, with rain and sun and wind and all kinds of weather. Neither plant is wrong, they are just different.
And people are the same. Some people are pot plants. They grow beautifully with structure, stability, and routine. Other people are outdoor plants. They need freedom, open space, and the unpredictability of real life to truly grow.
So before you make any big decision, sit with yourself and be very honest. Not what looks impressive on social media, not what your family expects. What is real and true for you right now, at this stage of your life?
And remember, your answer can change over time. Who you are at 22 is not the same as who you are at 35. Life has seasons, and different seasons call for different choices.
Tip number 2. This one is very important. Stop romanticizing business, and also stop being afraid of it. Both extremes are dangerous.
When we say romanticizing, we mean seeing something as perfect. People often see the beautiful parts of business, the freedom, the flexible hours, the idea of being your own boss, and they forget the hard parts, the stress, the responsibility, the risk.
Social media is really good at showing Chapter 10, the success, the results, the amazing life, but it almost never shows Chapter 1, the embarrassment, the confusion, the times when nothing worked and you had to figure everything out alone.
At the same time, don't let fear stop you from exploring the idea. Fear says, what if it fails? What if people laugh? What if I lose money? These are real questions, but they should not be the only questions you ask.
Ask yourself, what if it works? What if failing teaches me something amazing? What if this is the beginning of something that changes my whole life? Fear is just information. It tells you what matters to you. It doesn't have to be a stop sign.
The healthy way is to see business clearly, not as a dream and not as a nightmare, as a real path with real challenges and real rewards that is available to people who are willing to work, to learn, and to keep going even when it's not easy.
Tip number 4, and I love this one because it changes the way you see your current situation. If you have a job right now, use it as a school, not as a prison.
That is such a powerful way to say it. Many people feel stuck in their jobs. They feel like the job is keeping them away from their real dreams. But that same job, if you look at it the right way, is actually preparing you.
Giving examples, your job teaches you how to manage time, how to communicate with people who are different from you, how to deal with pressure, how to solve problems under stress. All of these skills, they are directly useful in business too.
And here's something practical. If you dream of starting a business someday, you can use your job time to prepare. Use your lunch break to read about your industry. Use evenings to learn new skills. Use weekends to experiment with small ideas.
Your job is also giving you something very important right now: security, financial stability. That security gives you the freedom to experiment without desperation. And desperation, as we said earlier, ruins decisions.
So, if you have a job and you feel frustrated, try to ask, what is this job teaching me? What skills am I building? What connections am I making? What money am I saving? Every answer is part of your preparation for what comes next.
Grounded, building up. Tip number 4 is all about mindset. And we talked about this a little bit, but I want to go deeper because this is where most people get stuck.
The word mindset means the way you think about something. Your mindset shapes your decisions. It shapes how you respond to problems. It shapes whether you see an obstacle as a wall or as a door.
An employee mindset says, tell me what to do and I will do it. An owner mindset says, what problem needs to be solved today and how can I solve it? One mindset waits for instructions. The other mindset looks for opportunities. These are very different ways of operating.
Another big difference is how each mindset deals with failure. An employee mindset often hides mistakes because making a mistake can mean losing your job. But an owner mindset actually studies mistakes because in business, your mistakes are your most important teachers.
I once spent 3 months building something that completely failed. 3 months of work completely gone. My old employee mindset wanted to hide that, pretend it never happened. But my owner mindset, which I had been slowly building, said, what did I learn? And I learned so much from that failure.
And the good news is, mindset is not fixed. You aren't born with a job mindset or an owner mindset. Mindset is built through experience, through reading, through reflection, and through the people you surround yourself with. You can change it.
Start small. Read about someone who built a business you admire. Listen to podcasts like this one, where people talk honestly about challenges and growth. Start asking yourself, how can I solve this? Instead of, who can tell me what to do? These small shifts, over time, they build a completely different person.
You do not have to choose just one. Start both.
And tip number 5, this is the big one, the one that most people don't realize. You don't have to choose between a job and a business. You can start with both.
Yes, this is so important. A lot of people think it's a dramatic choice. Quit your job, burn the bridge, jump into business. And while some people do that successfully, it's not the only way. And honestly, it's not always the wisest way.
The smarter approach for most people is this: keep your job, keep your income, keep your stability, and on the side, slowly and quietly start building something. Maybe it's a small online service. Maybe it's selling something you make. Maybe it's offering a skill you have.
This approach removes the pressure of desperation. When you have a regular income, you can make better decisions with your side project. You do not have to say yes to every opportunity because you need money. You can be more selective, more strategic.
Think of it like building a bridge. You would never destroy the bridge you are standing on before the new one is ready. You stay on the old bridge, you build the new one slowly, carefully, one plank at a time, and when the new bridge is strong enough, then you cross.
So the message is this: you do not have to rush. You do not have to make a dramatic choice today. Start learning. Start experimenting. Start building, even in a small way. Let your job fund your dream, while your dream grows strong enough to support you.
Those are our 5 tips, and I hope they gave you not just information, but a new way to think about this topic. Now let us take a few minutes to look at the key vocabulary from today's conversation. Now it is time for our vocabulary section. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode. We are going to look at 10 important words from today's conversation. These are words that will help you talk about jobs and business confidently in English.
Take your time with each word. Say it out loud if you can, and try to use it in a sentence of your own. That's the best way to make a new word yours. Stability. Noun. Stability means the quality of being safe, steady, and not likely to change suddenly. For example, my job gives me stability because I always know when I will receive my salary. Calm. Noun. Calm means feeling safe and protected, especially about money or your future. For example, having a regular income gives me financial security and peace of mind. Self-employed. Adjective. Self-employed means working for yourself and not for a company. You are your own boss. For example, she's self-employed. She runs her own online business from home. Income. Noun. Income is the money you receive regularly from work, business, or investments. For example, in a job, your income is fixed. In business, your income can grow. Risk. Noun. Risk means the possibility that something bad or unpleasant might happen. For example, starting a business involves risk because you don't know if it will succeed. Freedom. Noun. Freedom means the power to do what you want when you want, without being controlled by someone else. For example, many people start businesses because they want freedom to choose their own hours. Mindset. Noun. Mindset is the way you think about things and approach situations in life. For example, changing your mindset from employee to owner can completely change your life. Discipline. Noun. Discipline is the ability to control your behavior and do what is necessary even when it's hard. For example, running a business requires strong discipline because no one tells you what to do. Opportunity. Noun. Opportunity means a moment or situation that gives you a chance to do something good or useful. For example, she saw an opportunity in her community and started a small food business. Failure. Noun. Failure is when something doesn't succeed or doesn't go as planned, and it can be a powerful teacher. For example, his first business was a failure, but it taught him exactly what to do differently next time.
Those are 10 amazing words. Stability, security, self-employed, income, risk, freedom, mindset, discipline, opportunity, and failure. Say them out loud, write them down, and try to use them this week in conversation.
And notice how all 10 words connect. In a job, you might have stability, security, and income. In a business, you might have freedom and opportunity, but also risk. And with the right mindset and discipline, you can handle failure and turn it into your greatest teacher.
All right, everyone, we are coming to the end of today's episode, and what an episode it has been. We talked about jobs and businesses, we talked about stability versus freedom, we talked about fear, mindset, and how to build something real without destroying what you already have.
The most important thing to remember from today is this: both paths are valid. A job can be a beautiful, fulfilling choice. A business can be a powerful, meaningful journey, and doing both at the same time is smarter than most people realize.
Before we say goodbye, we have a question for you, our listener question of the day, and we really, truly want to hear your answer.
Here's the question. If you could spend 1 year doing anything, a job, a business, or something completely different, with no fear and no financial pressure, what would you choose and why? Think about it, and if you feel comfortable, share your answer in the comments.
I'll tell you mine. If I had 1 year with no fear and no financial pressure, I would travel to 5 different countries and interview people about their stories, their dreams, their failures, their lessons, and I would turn it into a podcast. Because honestly, I believe every single person has a story worth sharing.
That's beautiful, Brian. Mine would be a little different. I would open a small community English class in my neighborhood, totally free for anyone who wants to come, because I deeply believe that language changes lives, and I would want to be the person who helps someone speak their first confident English sentence.
And who knows, maybe your answer to that question is the beginning of something amazing. Sometimes we dismiss our dreams too fast. Sometimes the thing that excites us the most when we imagine it freely, that's the exact thing we are meant to build.
We hope today's episode helped you think, reflect, and feel a little more confident about this topic. Whether you're just beginning your English learning journey or you're already at an intermediate level, you belong here. This podcast is for you.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to It's English Podcast, and please, please, please share it with someone who is learning English or someone who is trying to figure out their next big step in life. Your share might be exactly what someone needs today.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We are genuinely grateful for every single one of you. Take care of yourself, stay curious, keep learning, and we'll see you in the very next episode.
Until next time, this is Brian. Keep your energy up, keep your dreams alive, and keep speaking English. Bye, everyone.
And this is Mary. Remember, every great journey begins with one small, brave step. Take yours today. Goodbye and take good care.